Hi guys. Alright, welcome to the next video. You are in a series and we are still talking about the meat. Okay, the meat. Now, we've been in Genesis and we've been in Genesis before. Okay, we've been in Genesis and we keep learning more things. Okay, what the Lord is showing us is that in Genesis chapter 6, there is an affirmation for us on what He has been teaching us about what happened in the heavens before the creation of Adam and Eve. This rebellion that cracked the foundation. In chapter 6, verse 4, we find out that the giants, guys, are the mighty men of old, of renown. Now, who would have been the mighty men of old? Okay? If this is the first group, okay, then who would have been beyond that? All right? Well, when you study the word giant, you begin to understand what this means, okay? Giant is a term for many things, but it is the picture of Nebuchadnezzar's statue. That is the physical picture. Man seeing himself on a throne, guys. That's what that is. The idea is narcissism. Right? It's a man-made power government. It exists today. Okay? It is the rebellious kingdom that's working alongside the spiritual kingdom. Now, when there was a crack in the foundation that caused the fallen angels to fall, okay, these are spirits, not all of them fell. We've gotten a number of 1/3. All right, that's the rebellious number we've gotten, 1/3. Okay. Now, what we are understanding here is that of these fallen, where did they fall? To the earth. What's on the earth? Man. What did these fallen ones do? Married. Within man. All this means is that within the foundational family unit that God made for man and woman to produce offspring, the rebellious nature also reared its ugly head into the family, came into the weaker link, the flesh. It took her away from her husband and God, and her offspring brought in more rebellion, and she birthed daughters, which represent women, which represents flesh. All right? Through Eve, through woman. We birth through woman. Now, what we got were 10 generations. But now we see the Lord is speaking. The Lord is saying to us that these giants were mighty men of old. Now, these giants, let's look at what giants are, and let's look at the word renown. Okay? Giant. Giant is great size and strength. You get the word billion out of giant. You get Goliath, of course, and all the picture is of David and Goliath is the battle of good and evil. David slays the giant. He kills off his flesh with the stone between the head of the giant. We know why that has to happen. It's defeating the mind. The bread is the stone. When you throw the truth at evil, you can battle evil. But you must know truth first. Truth can be your victory. The sword of your victory that comes from your mouth is truth. Guys, I want you to listen to what I'm saying, okay? This giant statue that has become this giant has been man's own creation of power that it didn't have a right to have. The rebellious nature has come from within us. You're not fighting something out there that you can't see. Your biggest enemy is within you. It's within your neighbor. It's within others. Okay, we lash out at other people because we're at war in ourselves. We're given the weapons of victory. We're told what they are, and they only come through the armor and the protection of Jesus Christ. No Jesus Christ, no protection. But you can't claim Jesus and then not wear the armor. If your armor involves a sword of truth, then you need to get truth. You do that through the Word. That's not just going to fall upon you one day by accident. Everything in the kingdom of God has an intent. It is intentional, and so must you be. This giant, okay, this opposition, that's what it is. It's opposition. It's within your own self. It's hostile. It's anti. Within yourself is a rebellious nature to go against God, and we know that this happens because we can look no further than creation, and that's the picture that we're given. And what do we birth within us in our place of our soul at that birthing spot? If you're in the flesh, more anger, more rebellion, more puffed up ego, more pride, big belly of leaven, opposition, hostility, accusation. And you know what you become like? The ogre. The ogre. A troll or clown. This is in the etymology of giant. An ogre. A man-eating, carnivorous person. The war, and Paul said it best, that you and I fight against is flesh and blood. This is why flesh and blood cannot enter heaven. You cannot enter a heavenly state of peace and protection and spirit if you are still fighting your demon within you of this hostility and competition of who's going to sit on the throne, you or God. These two kingdoms, there's a king in these two kingdoms. God intended for the spirit kingdom to be you recreated into holiness, to look in the image of the Father. Not for you to be your own self, not for you to love your own self, but to give up your life as a ransom, as Jesus did. When you give up your life for a ransom, you have killed your body. You have given it over in death. You defeat death. You become alive again. It's resurrection and transformation that only happens through Jesus Christ. In the kingdom that exists upon the earth, the rival kingdom, you will put yourself upon the throne. You will place yourself as king, and you will want everyone to bow down to you. You'll rule, and you'll want the flattery that comes with the territory of that king. You will want those to pay attention to you and adore you, and you turn yourself into what you feel others should worship. You often feel cheated when others don't fall at your feet. Our world is full of people who want to be worshipped. Not so in the kingdom. You lay your life down and you sit at the feet of Jesus. You must be willing to undergo an instruction and training. You come to God and you say, look what I have. Isn't this great? He's going to say, He's going to want you to make it new. You can't love your old life enough to hang on to it. You're holding on to your own death. You've got to be willing to come to the Lord and say, Lord, this is all I've got. It's nothing compared to who you are. It's limited. It's ugly. It's stained in sin. And He will say, let me take that and recreate that. And you say, absolutely. Because you know what? You know you will never be able to do it on your own. You will seek the Lord to do it. You won't seek other people. That is not where your praise comes from. This idea of the giant that you battle is your own demon. It's monster, dragon, spirit, dead spirit, evil spirit, Hades. The hell that you battle is what you have created. I know this is a tough concept. We'll have to do lots of videos on this, guys, because this is a hard thing to swallow. But the word here is memorance. Memory. Remember. Mind. Ponder. Do you remember what we learned about Eve and why there was an attack upon Eve? It came in her, where? Her mind. This is the factory place of production. And when it entered into her, she became tainted because she had been pure. It was the plan to taint her because she's going to be the vessel for everything new. Everything future rested in her possession. What a great responsibility, but what a great place for destruction. It's in your memory. It is in your memory. It is a typhoon. That is the word that came up with giant. You know what the Lord told me? This is what is seen rising up out of the sea. You guys listening? This morning, He said to me, this is the beast that comes out of the sea. The idea of renown, it means to be famous, to be celebrated and glorified. Well, that sounds just like a rebellious nature. What is it about this thing that wants to be worshipped? It wants a reputable piece of itself to go on and on and on with voice and speaking and power and miracles. It wants to be God. The idea here is to roar or to have speech in a memorial. Guys, memorial. To have a name. God gives us a name. The counterfeit, it also gave people a name, a calling. God's way is the one that you want to seek. Your giant is within you. We're going to talk about, in the upcoming videos, how to battle that. It's coming up in the next series. I love you guys.